It's very difficult to think about top four. The top four teams, top 4, 5, 6, they're getting points. It's going to be very, very hard.
Before their UEFA Europa League victory over Wolfsberger, Tottenham had lost 5 of their last 6 Premier League games. The exception came against West Bromwich Albion, a team fighting relegation and rooted in the bottom 3. Their 2-1 loss to West Ham United put the club 9 points off the top 4, a similar situation to the one the Spurs found themselves in when Jose Mourinho took over in November of 2019. This has led to dark clouds over Jose Mourinho's future as manager at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The likes of Julian Nagelsmann and Brendan Rodgers have been linked with potential moves to North London. However, with games against struggling Burnley, Fulham and Crystal Palace coming, there remains hope that the Spurs can redeem their season in the coming weeks. The fact that they've progressed to the Europa League round of 16 and will be playing Man City in the League Cup final at Wembley should keep the sack away from Mourinho for some time. There's no chance of them winning any silverware in any other competitions, and the special one knows how to deliver silverware. In his last role at Man United, the club were nowhere near being trophy contenders, but he delivered the Europa League. His Red Devils defeated the same Ajax side that Tottenham would put aside in their historic march to the UEFA Champions League final. If anyone could tilt a trophy assault in Tottenham's favour, it is the Portuguese tactician. He's managed to deliver the goods wherever he's gone, and this was the reason that got the Spurs faithful excited at his arrival. Mourinho's men have a realistic chance of beating Pep Guardiola's soon-to-be champions of England. It'll be a difficult task, but this team with Harry Kane, Son Heung-min and Gareth Bale could certainly give the citizens a run for their money. It's a similar case in the Europa League. Mourinho has European titles under his belt with 3 different clubs. These titles would have gone unheralded at the Special One's previous clubs. Chelsea would have called it a lost season with these trophies. A similar statement would have been made by Inter Milan or Real Madrid. Even the struggling Man United side that he managed called the season a failure despite claiming the Europa League. Tottenham are different. They're a top 6 club in England who are not used to winning titles. Their last trophy came 13 years ago, and the fans will be pleased to add to their trophy cabinet. Nothing can be said with certainty about Spurs' fate in these competitions, as anything can happen between now and the end of the season, especially if the club ends up finishing 8th and also bow out of the knockout competitions unceremoniously. Daniel Levy will surely think hard about pushing the reset button at the club, but it looks unlikely that he'll go into panic mode midway through the campaign. It is the upsells that the club must be focusing on. The prospect that the club win a cup or 2 and have Jose Mourinho at their helm make them an interesting destination for sponsors and players. Tottenham would be considered in a whole different perspective and will have progressed from their current level. It'll be the position from where the club can build on. Mourinho wants Spurs to improve. The club don't have the history of the clubs that Mourinho's managed through the course of his illustrious career. His appointment at the club was seen as a bit of a downgrade for him. He's been on the forefront of title challenges in 4 different countries. Unlike the Lily-Whites, all of his previous employers had burgeoning trophy cabinets. However, he took up the task of managing them. It was to reinvigorate his career that has seen him spat with the club's hierarchy and make a mockery of the dressing room. Both Chelsea and United's dressing rooms were a mess after his departure. Despite his pedigree as a great coach and a great manager, the players breathed a sigh of relief at his departure. The grapevine suggested he made everything around him toxic. He was unemployable, and this is the image that he wanted to change. All of the factors that were highlighted about him during his time at Chelsea and Man United have not been visible in North London. Even the outspoken Dele Alli and Gareth Bale have kept their silence, despite not featuring regularly. Mourinho has changed himself, but the results haven't followed. He needs the right tools to do the job properly, especially to change the mentality of a team that is not known to win. He's been backed in the transfer market with the requests he's made, but the defence remains unlocked. It is the one area which has set his teams apart from their peers. Given the quality of defenders at his disposal and the myriad of injuries they've suffered, this backline had a lot of ground to gain up on. It's debatable if they can claim to be in the same league as Ricardo Carvalho, John Terry, Walter Samuel, Pepe, or even Sergio Ramos. This shows the reduced quality Mourinho's working with, the one quality he's not compromised on at the clubs he's won trophies at. A lot of fans might have hoped for a top 4 finish. It was on the cards, especially after the club were on top of the Premier League points table for 4 straight weeks. Their 2-1 humbling at Anfield on December 16th kick-started their downfall. It's been all downhill since. With the exception of their cup form, there's been nothing to write home about. A top 4 finish at this stage is improbable and possibly out of the question, as they're 9 points off the pace. They have a game in hand, but the elements are stacked against them. It makes sense to have their hopes on the Europa League bet. Success in the competition would vindicate the club's appointment of Mourinho. Not only would it end Spurs' 13-year trophy wait, but also qualify them for the Champions League, the matter that is beyond their approach through normal means. Mourinho knows that he's back against the wall, and he doesn't shy away from venting his frustrations. The current 6-game form is one he's never endured during his decorated career. The fact that they've gone from title contenders earlier in the campaign to also Rans doesn't reflect well on him. However, Mourinho has been upbeat about his chances of weathering the storm and etching his name in Tottenham's history books. "I'm not happy, but maturity helps, and I'm feeling very confident. I believe that we will win through and that I will be in Tottenham's history through good reasons rather than bad. Thank God I'm not the manager I was. We all evolve." The special one remarked ahead of the AFC Wolfsberger's drubbing. With the 2-1 defeat against West Ham marking his 50th Premier League outing in charge of Tottenham, he couldn't have been happy with the numbers reflecting against his name. The half-century of games in North London have yielded 23 wins, 12 draws and 15 defeats. To put this in perspective, the 81 points accumulated are 14 fewer than what the Portuguese tactician has managed in his first 50 league games with any other club over the duration of his career. It shows that Mourinho's career has taken the wrong turn. He's not used to these statistics, especially as one who's always been at a dominant club. This raises the question of whether Spurs were correct in appointing him. Tottenham have been a club on the upward trajectory under Mauricio Pochettino. They were UEFA Champions League finalists, and Mourinho's career was on the way down. The fact that Daniel Levy managed to persuade him showed that the club have made it to the big boys. But is he the correct choice to lead them forward? The club is at a precarious juncture. With a couple of trophies in the bag, they can begin their transformation as a big club. They will not have to rely on splashing the cash in signing players and will be able to hold on to their prized possessions. Spurs want stability, and this is not guaranteed with Mourinho. One of his former players once described him during a contrast with GOALSIDE. The Dutchman signified calm waters, while the Portuguese was tidal waves. He's mellowed down a lot, but he can't keep away from his inner self of chaos. That chaos has a specific pattern which repeats itself. There has not been a 4th season, and it means we still have time for more drama. It always starts with a period of improvement, which is followed by excellence. Everything is calm at this point, but Mourinho pushes everything to breaking point, which leads to revolt at the club and then an acrimonious exit for him. It happened twice at Chelsea, then at Real Madrid and Manchester United. FC Porto and Inter Milan were spared the drama as he moved into the excellence phase of the programme. The excellence phase starts when Mourinho starts the blame game, and it started at the club. In all his politically correct statements after the defeat to West Ham, he let some nuggets slip. "I think for a long time we have problems in the team that I cannot resolve by myself as a coach." It might have been a one-off event, but if you're well versed in his history, the outburst is on their way. The born winner doesn't like post-match interviews, especially after being defeated. The fact that Spurs have been on a losing trajectory, the worst of his life, would be especially taxing. Moreover, Mourinho has already made a lot of compromises at Tottenham, and he doesn't like to make compromises. This team was exciting to watch in October through December, but not so much now. This was the same team that was fighting for Champions League glory, but is now thinking about claiming the Europa League. Mourinho knows all too well about optics. He's been the champion in maintaining them. Now that he's on his supposed tail end of his career, where he's labelled as yesterday's man, is having an impact on him. He's proving to himself that he can still deliver when the going gets tough. His teams are not as progressive as those around him, but his teams deliver results. And this is where he can set himself apart in North London. The special one has the best reputation and tools in his closet to make Tottenham a force to be reckoned with. There are issues that come with a big personality like his. It can be a big hit, as it was with Chelsea, Inter Milan, and to a lesser extent with Real Madrid. But if it goes awry, the club can be a miserable place to be, like Old Trafford in his last days at the club. But this assessment can only be made once his tenure at the club is over.